Hi guys, thanks very much for coming to our session today on develop critical thinking in others, which is BSBCRT511. Today I have with me Suzanne Caligari, and Suzanne's our fellow trainer, and we're just going to talk you through the knowledge questions so that you have a better understanding and how to answer these questions. Hi Suzanne, how are you going today?
Good, Jen, how you doing?
Good, let's see if we can get this going.
Fantastic.
All right. Develop critical thinking in others. So basically, required to develop critical and creative thinking skills in others within a workplace content. The unit applies to individuals who are developing and coaching others for whom critical thinking skills are an important part of their job. This includes analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. This unit applies to individuals who are typically responsible for leading teams. So, Suzanne, what do you think critical thinking is?
Definitely when an individual or a group of people may question a process, an issue that might be faced in the workplace, and it's about evaluating them and making a judgment. And just working together to improve the process.
Thank you. Critical thinking is a kind of thinking in which you question, analyze, interpret, evaluate, and make a judgment about what you read, hear, say, or write. So you're correct.
Right.
Good critical thinking is about making reliable judgments based on reliable information, and that's according to the Monash University. So let's talk through these knowledge questions in the knowledge test and give the students some ideas on what to do. That was my phone just buzzing. Let's move on.
Fantastic.
So explain the concept of critical thinking. So what we're looking for here, Suzanne, is we're probably looking for an explanation of the concepts of critical thinking, an explanation of the critical thinking process, and an approach that can be used to develop critical thinking.
Sure.
So does that make sense?
Absolutely. So if we really want to sort of look at it, it could be anything that's like intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing and applying, analyzing, as we said earlier.
Yep.
And even through observation, experience or reflection and reasoning. Yep. And that could be just an example there that that could be the concept of critical thinking there.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's look at how can you use critical thinking questions to identify the learning needs of the employees. So basically here, you as the supervisor are thinking about questions that you can utilize to understand the learning needs of your employees.
Yeah, so how that could be done is, having the responsibility to solve problems and following through. Another one would be creativity, to think out of the box when it comes to problem solving. Maybe two more would be maybe justifying your critical thinking process and explaining how they got to a better answer.
Yeah.
How they took responsibility for their actions, and also being able to look at oneself in your role and whether you understand what kind of work is going to be done.
Okay, thank you.
How does that sound?
It sounds pretty good to me.
Fabulous.
And that's all got to come out of the questions, as we said. So let's go to 2.2. What is formal and informal learning, and what methods can we use to deliver formal and informal learning? So just remember, it's like a two-part question, this one, so don't get trapped. We need to know. And Suzanne, can you give me an example of formal learning?
Okay, formal learning could be something, for example, like a planned training course. So where you go...
Now.
Yeah, like now, this is an example here. Boom, this is an example here.
All right, give me an example about an unplanned.
And
learning,
unplanned could be
or an informal learning, I should say.
maybe coaching on the job, learning, like, telephone skills,
Yep.
that could be an example there. And that could be on the job learning, coaching,
Good.
for example. Yeah.
Good job. All right, number 3, how can you assess the effectiveness of current learning systems used in the company? Now, this is a little bit funny to answer. So basically what we need to get from the students is a procedure to assess the effectiveness of current learning systems in your workplace. That would be the easiest way to look at that.
Did you want me to help? Oh, sorry, Jen.
No, you're right. So let's move on, because that one's a in your workplace one. So
Yeah.
next one is prepare a list of 4 Australian federal anti-discrimination laws the business must comply with. So without giving away all the answers, Suzanne, what would you suggest is one example?
Okay, one that resonates with me is Disability Discrimination Act 1992.
Perfect. Don't you dare give away any more answers.
But can I say something though? It's important to actually write the full year. So it would be, and that was the example there. So
good point. You need to put the exact name of the act and the year. Thanks for that.
You're very welcome, Jen.
Okay, next one is provide a brief explanation of the purpose of any 2 anti-discrimination laws. And again, let's not give them all away, Suzanne. What would they be looking for here?
Okay, I'm going to again use the Disability Discrimination Act of 1992.
Excellent. And
so that
do we also?
Excuse me, Jen.
Sorry.
That's okay. We're both excited. So what that act does, it seeks to eliminate discrimination against people with disabilities.
Perfect. You were actually said what I was going to say. How do we expand on that?
Okay.
Thank you. All right, let's move on. So question 5, under equal employee opportunity regulations, what are different grounds of discrimination? So you need to list 10. Can you just give me one again, Suzanne?
I'm going to talk about religion.
Lovely.
And basically it is listing. So because it's listing, that's all we need to write.
That's right.
That would suffice.
That's right. Well, when you list, we just need 10. Suzanne's just giving you an example of 1. Thank you. Okay. So this one's a 3-part question, which often gets us a little bit miffed because as we're writing the first one, we forget about the other 2 often. So number 6 is explain the critical thinking concepts, and they are of to analyze, synthesis, and I'm not good at saying that word, and evaluation. So pretty much the students need to write, to be competent in this, is just write a few sentences, couple of sentences on each one of those concepts.
Absolutely. Would you like me to give an example of the first, or we're just happy to move on to the next question? So I'm happy to.
No, I think we'll move on, Suzanne.
Yeah,
thank you.
Sounds great. You're very welcome.
Okay, so how can you use the following procedures to maximise individual and team access to learning opportunities? So what we're talking about there is procedures to hire and promote critical thinkers and also build a culture of learning. So there's, again, a 2-part question. So what I probably might ask you, Suzanne, is what do you think a procedure to hire and promote critical thinkers would be? Have you got a thought about that? It is in the learner guide too, students, so that you know.
I would be looking at, for example, I'm going to throw in there building the strength of the organisation, looking at skill sets. So therefore, if interviewing, and when I've interviewed for it, like looking at behavioural interviewing, which is a really effective way of gauging a candidate's strengths in a critical evaluation. And that's all I'm going to say.
Don't give them everything.
I'm not.
Okay, number 8. What are the different sources of information used to prepare workplace procedures? So again, using your own, what are the sort of things? Now, this is a little bit tricky because most most companies, most industries, they have a workplace procedure. So it'll be an induction, it'll be, meet everybody, show everybody where the lunchroom is and the bathrooms, etc., and where to park. But we need a little bit more than that, don't we, Suzanne? So that's not necessarily wrong, but we really want to talk about the different sources of information in the workplace regarding policies and procedures. So things like WHS and what is it that we need to put in there. And not, to be honest, not all companies have it, but I think the students that we're dealing with in their companies, they do. So you need to use your own company and your own business you're working in for this one.
Okay. So would we then move on? Okay, fantastic. So we'll move on to 8.2 then?
Yes, thank you.
Brilliant.
So what we're looking for here, what is WHS information used for? So without giving it all away, have you got just a couple of tips for us there, Suzanne?
I'm just gonna throw in the basic, and so that employees, are clear that they are complying with the rules and regulations of the Act, which is the WHS Act.
Yeah, terrific.
For example, yes.
Yeah, so follow that exactly as Suzanne said and use that information. Thank you. All right, what is a performance development plan and what are the benefits of the performance development plan? So do you just want to give us a really brief, quick overview of a performance development plan, Suzanne?
Okay, so it's a tool for improving employee performance.
Perfect.
It helps also leaders to identify, skill gaps, set goals, KPIs, etc., etc.
Okay, and of course, I'm not going to ask you to expand because we need the students to do the work on the benefits of that.
Absolutely. So we won't give them one example, just to so I was going to throw in accountability and then go to question 10. Sorry.
Yes, of course you are. Give them all the answers.
Good cop, bad cop, Jen.
Let's move on. Okay, 10. What is PDCA and what are the 4 phases of PCDA? So what I'm looking for there is we need to use the words, what is PCDA? And then we need to know the definition. So I actually don't want you to answer this one because this again is in your learner's guide.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to find and it's not hard to understand.
It's not. No, it is not. Definitely not. So we'll move on to question 11 then, Jen.
Thank you. What are the fundamental aspects of critical thinking? So what are we looking for here, Suzanne?
Definitely looking at a few things in terms of abilities.
Yep.
Dispositions. So would be another one. So just quickly, an example of the abilities is analysing arguments, for example, claim of evidence, and dispositions could be maybe searching for the truth.
Yeah, okay. That gives us, and like I said, we don't want to give all the answers away. That gives the students an idea.
Fabulous.
Okay, and let's look at 12. How can you lead a team and individuals to develop critical and creative thinking skills? I think if everyone's read their learner guide, Suzanne, and we've answered these questions, I kind of feel this is the last question, and I feel that we're at the stage where we should let the guys answer this for themselves.
Absolutely, and we've been doing it throughout this this session between us, Jen. So
absolutely
engaging. So that's all I'm going to say there.
All right. I'd like to say, is there any questions? Suzanne, any questions from you?
No questions. Look, I think we've covered everything. There were 12 questions. So fantastic. Thank you. And good luck. And good luck everybody in your studies.
Thank you very much, Suzanne. I appreciate your help. And thanks everybody for taking the time to listen to the recording.